and be in the same position that you were each day, but mentally know that you're trying and trying and trying. That's a real grind.
Trial and error. You know, you grow up and you make game-winning shots and it's awesome. You come back the next day and miss a game-winning shot and it's misery. And then the next day comes and you're back playing again. And you understand that life has this cyclical nature where it's, you know, what you do on Monday, it's fantastic, but then Tuesday is a bad day. But guess what? There's Wednesday. Yeah. So are we just supposed to live our lives like this the whole time? You know, versus just staying like this and understanding that it's really just a journey of evolution every day. It's just constant improvement, constant curiosity, constantly getting better. The results don't really matter. It's the figuring out that matters.
Yeah. Now, get control of your emotions and carry on with your life. And sometimes you're gonna get hit with those waves, and that's okay. I think that's a big misconception. It sort of relates to what you're saying. Oh, I'm having an emotional moment right now. There's something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. The other extreme is, oh, I'm letting my emotions run my life and I'm making a bunch of bad decisions. And my excuse is, well, you know, I lost some friends or I had this traumatic experience happen to me. That's why I'm doing, that's just an excuse. And it's a very easy excuse.
The ultimate lesson here is this: everybody's on their own path. And I don't want to judge someone for wanting to be free and easy. I just want you to understand that there's a cost to that. And the cost that you're going to have to that isn't going to come until later. Most people need to shut the f up and focus on that version of themselves they want to become and actually be willing to become it. And that's what's ultimately going to create the fulfillment that you're looking for. It's not going to be your cold plunge. It's not going to be your morning routine. It's going to be the work that you fucking do to become that version of yourself that is the exact version that you know you're supposed to become, and then being proud of it. That's what's going to create the fulfillment that you're searching for.
Be a dangerous man. That's a lifetime right there of study, okay? But start working on that. Second, be a dangerous man. Now, being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things, all right? And it's not about going out and lifting weights and getting a bunch of tattoos and wearing leather jackets and walking around with your chest and shoulders up, hulking around saying, I'm dangerous. That's very rarely is that a dangerous man. Often the most dangerous man in the room is the quietest man in the room.
I became obsessed. With being the baddest that God ever created. Am I that? I don't care. I believe it. And I was trying to tell him, once you become obsessed with something, it's okay to be unbalanced for a while. It's okay. Don't be all this stuff people say, you gotta be balanced. To be the best in the world at what you do. It's not about being a Navy SEAL, people. The best at what you do, you have to be unbalanced to find every bit of energy and strength that you have to pull it off. Then you get balanced once you become great.
Pain is passed down from father to son and son to son. A lot of pain in Troy's life is a result of the pain and the damage from his father that he then visits on his son.
You did that, so as times get hard for me, the truth comes out. And my truth is powerful as fuck. It's real. It's tangible.
Patience, the thing that goes beyond hustle and hard work. The discipline of patience, the thing that goes beyond hustle and hard work, right? Because we all talk about hustle, we talk about working hard, we talk about grinding, this, that, and the third, but nobody talks to you about patience. Nobody speaks about that patience, because in the patience, that's where you're gonna make it or you're gonna break. The discipline of patience, right? Because when you're not patient, you can make a lot of mistakes, man. Like I told you, the quote said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap. You judge each day by the seeds that you sow, right? When you sow a seed, you gotta be what? Oh, you gotta be patient.
It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts and two-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle, and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard.
I'm one of those old school guys. You know, when you talk about men's mental health and that men have to carry this burden and men have, yeah, that's what we do. Guess what? Somebody's got to get up. I have a family, right? I have children. I got to get up every day and go to work, and I have to, you know, do what I have to do. And no, I don't. I mean, I'm give a shit about my feelings. You know, you see these guys these days on social media, like, hey, you know, you know what I'm saying? Just talking about their bad day and this happened and I'm f***ing, right. Man, shut the f*** up. Oh, I know. Get up. Oh, I know. Get the f*** work and do what you got to do and be a man. No, be a man. I tell you. Just be a man.
Doing the thing in spite of not wanting to do the thing is discipline, right? You don't need motivation to get yourself up to go and do a thing. Make the promise small, build it up step by step. Know that you are going to have setbacks, and this is my favorite rule from James Clear, which is a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit. Never miss 2 days in a row. So ideally, go for a month, build it up. But after that, if you ever miss one day, go, okay, mistakes are going to happen. Tomorrow I double down. Tomorrow I go on time, absolutely perfect. I'm straight up out of bed, or I go to the gym, or I walk the dog, or I do my meditation or whatever. And that's a good heuristic. Stops errors snowballing into new habits. You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard. And the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
It's a selection effect.
And I think if you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's going to have to try. Yeah.
And so if you tell young men, look, you're going to find the meaning in your life by adopting maximal responsibility, right? That's going to be extremely difficult because you're so bloody useless. You can't even get your own house in order. And you're going to be called upon not only to get your house in order, but to do that well enough so some woman can stand having you around for more than like 15 minutes in the back of a car. And then maybe you're going to have to do it so that you could be a good father to a family and a pillar of the community. And that's not just empty words. Like, if you do that nobly, there'll be something to you. And then when the storms come, you won't be blown over by the first 4-foot wave.
I found out through this path of life, who is David Goggins? Who am I? So going through I did it alone. There was no trophy on the wall on the mantle. That trophy's in my brain. No one helped me get there. No one paid my bills. No one did shit for me. No one ran those miles, lost that weight, went through it. I suffered on my own and developed this man who said, it's who I am, man.
That's important, man. And most people struggle their whole life to find out who they are. Struggle their whole life to find out what defines them, what they actually enjoy and what they don't.
You start putting yourself in situations that suck, you'll find yourself.
Yeah.
You'll find it real quick.
That is the thing, right? And that's one of the things that I've gotten from paying attention to you is that what you're preaching, what you're talking about is finding yourself through struggle.
That's it.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
The biggest mistake any ever make is getting too comfortable, kicking their feet up, taking them off victory lap. Cause you ain't never safe. Somebody always out there, watching.
Like, there's people out there that are just working harder than everybody else, and they're gonna keep doing it.
Not you. You're too cold.
Yeah, because I think that emotions most of the time doesn't help us to deal with something.
Dedication, hard work. Dedication, hard work. On one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still come on top.
It's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you can't fucking do it when it's not comfortable for you to do. And that's why people lose.
You know who goes the furthest? The ones who value consistency over perfection.
Because we forget we are in control of our mind. We put in our minds what we should do.
At the end of the day, you've got to feel some way. So why not feel unbeatable? Why not feel untouchable? Why not feel like the best to ever do it?
When you have something in life that you want to accomplish greatly, you have to be willing to give up your happiness.
You know, you're going to have some haters. What's the best way to silence haters? Be undeniable.
A focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. If you think about yourself as the sun, and you need to burn through a hole through a piece of paper, like that's what you have to get through. A sun has more than enough power to burn through it. But if the sun is evenly spread, it just warms up the paper, but it doesn't even break through. And so many of you have suns and suns worth of energy, but you're so spread thin that all you do is warm your stuff up. You never break through. And you would be amazed at how much more you can accomplish when you only have one thing to do.
You will never stay up at night staring at the ceiling, losing sleep over the failures. You'll never lose sleep over the failures. The shit that eats you from the inside out, the shit that'll keep you up at night is the what if. Do you understand that in 100 fucking years, not a single person that you know that has an opinion on you, every single opinion about you dies in 100 fucking years. Every single thought, idea, everything, every person you have ever met will be 6 feet under, and so will you. So why are you taking it so seriously? Why don't you just live your existence for you? Do things that make you happy. We're playing a game and it comes to an end and nobody comes out alive, and so why not just live it to the fullest? Why not take every single risk that you can take? Why not do everything that you know you're meant to do? I heard a quote one time. Everybody has 2 lives. And the second one starts when you realize you only have one.
You don't need enemies. Compete against you. Once you compete against you, you're gonna always win. Because you're trying to get better every day. So you in competition all the time. Them enemies over there take you off your course. Now you start thinking like them, you start doing goofy shit like them, and now you're not you. As long as you remain you, and you competing with you every day, you're gonna get better. You're gonna get great, you're gonna master you.
It is astounding how many people want to be spectacular in life but also want to fit in and be normal. Like, by being normal, you are, by definition, aiming for average. Normal people get normal results. Weird people get weird results. You literally can't do what everyone else does and not expect to get what everyone else has. By doing what everyone else does, you guarantee average results.
It's 1 a.m. I'm going for my 3rd workout. Do I want to go to the gym? Absolutely not. I'd rather, lay in my house and sit in the movie theater and watch movies. But, to be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
Losers wing it through life. Winners leave nothing to chance. Because as a winner, you're already going to experience hardship, failures, rejection. But by game planning it out, structuring it out, creating a formula or process, at least you have some framework to follow. But if you're just gonna wing it through life, that's what losers do. Losers think that they still have more time to get there. Losers measure themselves by the losers that they surround themselves with.
Number 1, don't run away. And number 2, be honest to yourself. Those 2 things, you should keep them in mind and then just put time, effort into practice. I think is the key to step by step build something up about yourself, about your life, about your character and personality that will give you some strong fundament in order to tackle everything that this world is going to throw at you.
If you have something in your heart, go for it, chase it, give it all you got, and find out where it takes you. The opportunity right now to chase your dreams, you only got one life. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? you're right back where you started. Chase those dreams, man. I try to tell that to every kid I ever meet. Chase your dreams. Nothing's too crazy. You believe it, make them believe it.
We're really quick to forget that the day we're living today is a day we dreamed of 10 years ago. But there's a part of your life that is exactly the life that you wanted. And when you forget that, you lose out on recognizing you're already living in the dream and that you already have the power to create that future dream because you've already done it once.
Knock me down 19 times, I'ma get up 20. Tell me I can't do something, I'ma make it my mission to show you I can. I'ma fail, but I won't quit. I'ma lose, but eventually I will win. I'm insane when it comes to becoming the best version of myself.
Only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big.
The latest research in neuroscience says you can change your brain just by thinking. So then as you begin to think about a new possibility and your brain begins to fire in new sequences and new patterns and new combinations, and you begin to plan your behaviors, and you begin to review in your mind, mentally rehearse who you're going to be in your life. Now your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's in fact a map to the future.
Have to build yourself into someone who is resilient enough and mentally tough enough and has the fortitude and the grit and the belief and all of the things required to push through these difficult times that most people aren't even willing to go through. There is nobody that you look up to that became that person without a tremendous amount of hardship. There's nobody that you look up to that became a successful, inspiration to you without going through a lot of pain. When you think of the stories and the people that inspire you, the reason they inspire you is because what they went through to get where they are, not because of just where they are.
Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride, even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most. Even our dreams.
Confidence isn't about everything going right. It's about trusting your ability to bounce back stronger. You've made it through every hard thing so far, so don't doubt your ability now. Confidence is a skill that you build one decision at a time, and it starts with trying. You try, you learn, you get better, you become more competent, and over time, confidence shows up easier because you earned it through action. The biggest breakthroughs happen when you're done with shrinking, done with waiting, done with the version of you that plays small.
In the endless murmur of judgment, true peace is born not from seeking approval, but from mastering the quiet art of walking alone, unwavering toward your own truth.
Bend your idea and stay in that vibration regardless of what's happening. When you do that, it will attract to you all things requisite to the fulfillment of that picture, and it'll attract it by the harmonious vibration, the law of attraction.
If you wish to keep on the beam that leads to success, be sure that you give Cosmic Habit Force a thought pattern based on the things you want most in life, and it will do the rest.
What we give out
we get back. And what we believe about ourselves becomes true for us. Our thinking creates our experiences. There is a law of thinking like everything else, like all of nature. There is a universal energy or law of mind or subconscious mind, whatever you want to call it. But to me, it means the power that is within me and around me transforms my thoughts into experiences. Every thought we think and every word we speak is creating our experiences. And it's almost as though every time you think a thought or you speak a word, that universal intelligence or energy is listening or responding to what you are thinking or believing or saying. Whatever we choose to believe becomes true for us.
I ask not for more riches, but more wisdom with which to make wiser use of the riches you gave me at birth, consisting in the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever ends I desire.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool? $1 billion.
That clip we played there, what was it, 2013?
I said to my dad I said, listen, by the time I'm 25 years old, I'm going to be a self-made millionaire. And he laughed at me. There's no one laughing at me now, I tell you that.
See this? This is energy too. If you get on the frequency this is on, you can't stop it coming.
Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. So act as if. It's not pretending, it's preparing.
We cannot attract anything in our life we feel separate from. We always desire things, we always want things, but when we're in the creative process, we cannot create from the lack of not having it. We have to create from the feeling of having it. The person now who's in that state where they're feeling like the event has already happened, they no longer want it because they're feeling the emotion, but you only look for it when you experience lack. If you feel like it's already happened, you're no longer separate from it. And so feeling that emotion somehow starts to draw things to us, and now we're not having to do anything. The things are starting to come to us. That's the synchronicities, that's the coincidences, that's the opportunities. We're not doing anything, they're coming to us.
When you know what you want and you make a committed decision, you are on an exciting trip. See, when you see yourself as what you want, you put your mind on the frequency that it has to be on, and you're going to attract everything you need, and you'll get it right on schedule. Not when you want it, probably. You'll get it as you need it. Do you know the only prerequisite to getting what you want is you got to want it?
Okay, let me show you this that I had in mind. Albert Einstein said that imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. That's what your imagination is. Your imagination is actually very, very real. Everything you've ever imagined is real. See, I tell young people like this. First of all, this is how your imagination works. You got to grab this concept. It is impossible for you to think an impossible thought. That is impossible. You can't think something that ain't possible. You ain't that smart. So if it's in your head, you got to ask yourself, how did it get there? That's God showing you a preview of a coming attraction he has for you. The problem with most people is you think your imagination is hocus pocus. It's really not. It's a preview of a coming attraction. If you react to your imagination, that's where your real life is.
If you will say before you go to sleep, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And if you'll say when you get up in the morning, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And if all day long you say, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me, you'll find that as you go to sleep the next night, and try this today, it's a very powerful exercise. It sounds a little bit corny, but it's a very powerful exercise. If you'll try it, you'll find that when you go to sleep, you will not be able to think of all the wonderful things that happen to you. You'll just be surprised that your parking spaces will open up and friends will call and you'll get checks in the mail. Just your life will be a series of really positive, happy experiences. So always expect the best. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today, and by the inexorability of a law of nature, it's going to happen to you. I can assure you it's happened to thousands and thousands and thousands of our graduates. It will literally astonish you, the effect of this corny little exercise.
Now, science says, show me and I'll believe. Faith says, believe and I'll show you.
Be very clear on what it is that you want. Spend 5 minutes sitting down and visualizing those things being true, and then give gratitude for that. Like, see it, feel it in your body, taste it in your mouth, hear it in your ears. Completely immerse yourself in that for 5 minutes, longer if you can, and then just be so grateful for all of that. Essentially what you're doing is moving your brain from a fear state to a trust state, and that is the gateway to making these changes.
What you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life. Think abundance, feel it, and the universe will mirror it back to you. When your desire is strong enough, you will find the way. Hold the image of your goal with unwavering faith, and the world will bend to meet your vision.
If you have a clear picture in your head of something is going to happen, and a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what, then nothing can stop it. You know what I mean? It is destined to happen.
Like attracts like. You have to understand, you are a magnet. Whatever you are, that's what you draw to you. If you're negative, you're going to draw negativity. You're positive, you draw positive. You're a kind person, more people are kind to you. So you're like a magnet. You know, if you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fear.
Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary.
When you stop thinking, there's a wonderful thing that happens in the brain when we become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. That's the moment where we shut the mechanism down of thinking, and by focusing on nothing, on space, there is a recalibration of the nervous system back to more order, back to more wholeness, back to more oneness. And the closer you get to singularity, to source, to oneness, to wholeness, to absolute, whatever you want to call that, and you're creating from the field instead of from matter, every thought in the quantum produces a frequency. So the thought of your wealth in the quantum should produce the frequency or the feeling of abundance. And if you
can being bullied, and now I'm a 180-pound person who lost 106 pounds in less than 3 months. Learn to read, learn to do this, learn to do that. I was like, I need more. I was fueling my mind with everything. I never took time to say, my God, you came from this hell.
Experience the feeling of that ahead of the actual event. You're beginning to change information in the field. Keep doing that. Thought objectifies and conditions reality. So you create a thought form, and in time, all of a sudden, you start having these synchronicities and these outcomes in your life.
Gosh, it's so sad when somebody's in the right country and they got the wrong philosophy. Let me give you some examples on philosophy that can get you from $5 an hour to $6 an hour. Here's number one. Wait for the government to change the minimum wage. If you wait long enough, sure enough, the government will change the minimum wage, let's say to $6 now. You say yes, but how long will it take? Answer, I'm sure much longer than you want to wait. Here's number two. Wait for the company to pay you $6 an hour. How often is the review? 6 months, 1 year, let's say you don't make it. Second year, say, well, that's a long time to go from 5 to 6. It is a long time. Here's the third philosophy. We call it the philosophy of demand. Using the philosophy of demand, you cannot get rich. I demand $6 or I won't work. Now, if you're by yourself, this is a risky philosophy. If you've got 1,000 people now to take with you to the company and say, all 1,000 of us will not work unless we get $6, now you might have a chance. The philosophy of demand only works by collective bargaining. So you can't get rich by demand. Here it is, the philosophy of performance. I will perform so well that the company would easily be justified in paying me $6. These are philosophies to follow. Your income is determined primarily by your philosophy.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started
to be great. There are things that you're going to be able to do that eye has not seen, ear has not heard. There are things that you have in you that you don't even know. But until you get outside of your comfort zone, you will never discover it. You have something special. You have greatness within you. But in order to manifest your greatness, you've got to put yourself in a perpetual state of discomfort. Yes, you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to raise the bar on yourself. You've got to get busy. You've got to work your plan. Even if you've got a job right now, you've got to work yourself out of it. You've got to have an exit date where you say, hey, I've had it. It's time for me to do me, to pursue my dream, to work my plan, to implement the things that I want for myself and for my family and for my kids. And what is your legacy? What do you want to do for yourself?
You can have, do, or be anything you want if you controlled your mind. The law of attraction is basically saying whatever you focus on with energy and repetition is what you're going to tend to bring into your life. Most people don't realize that their thoughts are in the toilet.
Lose! I don't lose! I win! I win! I'm a lawyer! That's my job! That's what I do!
Everybody wants to be a beast. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to have, to be, and do what they feel they've been called to do. The challenge becomes that most of us, when it's time to do what beasts do, we don't do it. So E.T., what do you mean? Look, I told you, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up recently and it was 2:45. And the average person in me said, E.T., just pull the covers back over here. It's okay. You got 15 minutes. But the phenomenal in me said, E.T., if you go back to sleep for those 15 minutes, there's no guarantee you're going to get up at 3 o'clock. If you go back to sleep right now, you might wake up and it's 4 o'clock. You might wake up and it's 5 o'clock. You might wake up and it's 6 o'clock. All you have is right now. Are those 15 minutes that sweet that you're gonna push back your dream, that you're gonna push back your goal? Everything you've ever wanted, son, you're right there. You're so close. You're closer than you've ever been before. Those 15 minutes are not worth the rest of your life. Those 15 minutes are not worth you slipping down the chart. That is not worth it because you wake up at 3:30, some other kid's getting up at 3 and he's got 30 minutes on your day. So I need you not only to want to be a beast, I need you to get in beast mode and stay in beast mode. I need you to put on beast mode. I need you to live in beast mode. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. Everybody wants something in life. But many of you in this room right now, your beast mode is idle. Your beast mode is not turned on. And when you leave this place, I'm telling you, your life is going to go to a whole other level if you can learn to turn that switch on and keep that switch on.
When you want to become a diamond, your whole attitude change, your whole mindset, your thinking, your relationships, the decisions that you make, how you spend your time, your energy, all of it changes. See, this is something that you can't be in this business. This business has to be in you.
Continue to work, continue that course, believing in the worthy cause, the end state of it all, knowing that the pressures and the problems coming are welcoming. Those are the situations that are going to formulate and mold you into the person you want to be. Accept this as the reality. Sacrifice this day for the investment in the future of greatness.
So I'm telling you, in life, you start running from a class, you start running from a subject that you don't like, it will haunt you for the rest of your natural life. It ain't going nowhere. You gotta take that thing out, like, you gotta take the breath out. So some of y'all are afraid of math. Go after it. Go get it. Don't run from it no more. Go get it. You go in there and go get that grade. You go in there and get that information so you can pass that class. You gotta go get it.
I want you to go in confidence that you've never had before. And every giant in your life, slay them. You go back and slay them. Don't kill them, slay them.
I'm tired of people talking about, I want to be successful. I'm tired of people saying, I want to be great. Look, everybody wants to be a beast. Until it's time to do what real beasts do. And let me tell you something, that means getting up early and going to bed late. That means you don't go to sleep when you're tired, you go when you're done. So remember, success is never on discount and greatness ain't never on sale.
I challenge you to have more. I challenge you to do more. I challenge you to be more.
You gotta get this beast mode. You gotta embody beast mode. Everything about you has to say, I ain't playing.
Being as being.
Love. Pure love is my true self. It's my true nature. Pure love for everyone and everything, for every aspect of life, even those things with which I disagree.
For one who has recognized the nature of their being, they know their being as the source of the peace and happiness for which they long. So the world no longer becomes the place in which they seek happiness, seek fulfillment. It doesn't mean to say that such a person no longer has desires, but the desires are not there to fulfill the sense of lack that is characteristic of the separate self. As such a person has found the source of happiness within themselves, and their desires come from that sense of happiness. They do not go towards it. For instance, in the realm of relationship, it makes a big difference to our relationships. We no longer seek an other to fulfill the needs of ourself. We seek another to share the experience of happiness that we already have. And this relieves our friends of the impossible burden of providing happiness for a voracious, unsatisfied self.
Nothing occurs in my life that has not brought me benefit or will not bring me benefit, in the sense that every moment, every activity, every outcome moves me forward in the process of the evolution of my soul. And that's why I came here to the physical realm, to evolve.
Remain open. Feel your inner aliveness, letting energy circulate freely. Don't try to make anything happen. Who is aware of that energy, that inner aliveness? Notice the mind's tendency to control and manipulate, to get involved. Without the use of your memory or language, who are you? Beyond the mind and senses, who are you? Who is aware?
While you're asleep, and whatever idea you lift up before your subconscious mind, before you go to sleep, that idea is impressed upon the subconscious and it draws that to you. You'll wake up in the morning and the right ideas will just be clicking in your head.
That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years. It's the law of attraction.
But here's the key. The law of attraction doesn't work without the law of action. Thoughts are powerful, but actions are what prove you're serious. See it in your mind, feel it in your heart, but build it with your hands. The future you want is already out there, waiting, but it's not coming to meet your excuses. It's coming to meet your effort. So dream big, speak bold, and move like the universe is watching, because it is.
Because here again, when you learn how to believe correctly about yourself and to know what you are entitled to, it just comes to you automatically.
Asking starts a unique process, mental and emotional. I don't even know how it works. All I know is it works. It's like pushing a button and all this machinery starts working. I don't know how, it just works. There's a lot of things you don't need to know how, just work them.
Visualize it, but also feel it. Like feel yourself there. Close your eyes, smile to yourself, and feel yourself there. And believe me when I say you can manifest that. I know you think I'm crazy, but it's the joke in life. I'm telling you, it's the joke in life. You can't go to places physically until you go there emotionally and in your mind first. And then once you're there, you're ready. But when you hold on to the negative thoughts, it's like walking around with all this baggage and luggage. Who needs that shit, really?
Don't chase your dream, manifest it. You're chasing your dream, you're never gonna catch it. You know, just manifest it, put your trust in a higher source, and it'll manifest in your life. It's called prayer. You know, you can call it yoga, meditation, you know, whatever name you want to put on it, but you definitely want to implode within yourself and get in that higher source and let him turn the faucet on so you can get wet.
Literally, what you're thinking will manifest. It's not only if you conceive it, you can achieve it. It's if you conceive it, it will be achieved. It's a function of time and your own belief system. So how much resistance, impedance are you going to put against the positive dreams and aspirations that you have that are in line with your higher self and what you've chosen for your life plan? I can tell you right now, one of the first things you can do to raise your vibration is just to feel gratitude for your current state. We all get stuck. I get asked all the time, like, if you give one message to the world, what would it be? And I would say, stop with the negative self-narratives. Stop with the self-limiting belief systems. It's not necessary. Just remember who you are and why you're here.
People who train every day don't want to train every day. They are not motivated to train every day. They are something else. Motivation is the wrong thing. Not what you feel like fucking doing. That's the difference between a man and a fucking child. You do not become a man doing what you feel like doing. You become a man doing what you're supposed to fucking do.
It's one of those things where you don't wonder that you're not. And the only way I can explain it, to try and make it make any sense, is that if I'm not doing something which is either extremely difficult or extremely stressful, I'm in a perpetual state of crippling boredom. I can't explain that. I see other people.
If I sit there and have to face myself and tell myself, you're a failure, I think that's a worse, that's almost worse than death.
The hardest battle you'll ever fight is the one with the man in the mirror. He knows your weaknesses, your doubts, every excuse you've ever made. But here's the truth. That man isn't your enemy. He's your greatest project. Every decision you make today is shaping him. Every rep, every risk, every sacrifice. It's for him. So ask yourself, when you look in the mirror tomorrow, will you see a man who gave it his all, or a man who let excuses win? The choice is yours. Make him proud.
It's our home, nobody else's. This is our arena, this is our lab where we do all the work. Champions aren't found on the podium with their hand up, no. Champions are found in lab studies, the thousands of hours of hard work when no one's watching. That's what makes the will unstoppable. When you're in here and no one else is, harder than anybody, with no one around. That right there, guys, is a spark that catches flames, burns every fear down, guys. Some fear people use, and it enables them, fear does. You know, it's a block to them. They're scared from it, they run from it. Fear, you know, shuts them down. For others, fear's a motivation. I feel fear now, and I tackle it so I never have to feel it again.
You should be a monster, you know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
If it was raining outside at 3 o'clock in the morning, if it was snowing, the first instinct is don't go out there and do shit. My instinct was, we gotta go out there. Anything that was horrible in my life that I would normally say no, that was inhumane to most people, I had to go do it.
I have a weird personality. I don't think it's weird though. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. Like right now, I'm scared to death. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible. I'm a savage. I'm ferocious. I'm the smartest savage. I'm but an animal, but a sophisticated animal, smart animal. The lion and the fox. I could beat the vicious guys, and I got outsmart the slicksters. I love war. I love the act of war. I love the players in war. I love the philosophy of war. And there's a quote in Machiavelli, The Prince, and when they say, after you defeat the king and you cut off his head, you be audacious, and you say what you're going to do to the next ruler and the next prince that you're going to conquer, and that allows them to be intimidated.
I became bulletproof. I became invincible here in my body. Now nothing can stop me. Not you can throw anything at me. There's nothing that can break my mindset.
And being directionally correct rather than searching for a perfect answer, because a perfect answer assumes perfect information, which you can only have after you begin. And so in some ways, making a decision is the perfect answer so that you can get the information feedback to then improve the quality of the decision later.
Who teaches you to be a man? You know, but fame is a monster, you know, and we all have these ladders of battles, roads we have to walk in our given lives. Be you famous or whoever's out there listening. We all have our individual challenges. It's cliche, money don't make it better. It don't. Fame just magnifies the problems and the opportunities. I never looked at things as problems. I look at them as opportunities. Maybe that's something I can say. You know, someone, but she did this, and I was, well, what an opportunity you have. Yeah, well, the world, you know, because they said this and CNN said that. Yeah, well, what an opportunity you have to make a difference, because you never know who's watching. But more importantly, you shouldn't do it to be seen. You know, pray about it. Whatever it is you're committed to, fight for it. What did you say? Fear is nothing but contaminated faith.
That's right.
Fear is nothing but contaminated faith.
A lot of times we have this desire to point the blame finger externally, but wherever you point the finger of blame, power follows. And so whoever I blame for the life I have is the person who I give all the power over my existence, over my circumstances. And so it hurts, but if you turn the finger inwards and you start saying, I don't like my life. The person that I need to punish or get back at is the real person who got me here, which is me. And so you may be right that other people did certain things or you got dealt a bad hand. It also doesn't matter, because the only thing that you can control is obviously the actions that you take. And the only person who's in control of that is you. And so the revenge porn is thinking about what the version of you who got you here did, and then acting in the exact opposite of that as many times as you possibly can. And the pain that you feel by rejecting the thing that you used to do that got you into this bad circumstance, that's the real revenge.
You are your own hero. You are your own leader. You are your own master. And that is a big one, because we idolize so many people, and we want to be them. We want to be someone else. And in doing that, you lose all the potential of who you are. You mimic, you be them, you are them, you become them, and you lose you. And we look up to so many people in this world who will let us down. We're humans. I'm gonna let you down. You're gonna let somebody down. And you put them on a pedestal, you then lose time when that person comes up and lets you down. You must hold yourself accountable, and being your own hero, that's what that does. You make yourself so totally accountable for who you are. You focus on you and only on you to become the best person you could be for others. Because we leave a lot on the table, not searching who we are. And then therefore, you die not knowing your greatest potential.
Virtually every major objective I've ever set in my life has been reached. And I honestly believe that the rest of them will be reached.
That's all right, guys. Fall down, man. That's a good thing. See, the thing is, most people don't go hard enough to fall down. They don't go that far. It's too hard for them. They're not willing to pay the payment of pain today. It's too much for them. So they don't pay it today. Later in life, they pay it in regret. Coming up short in something, they pay it then. What I'm trying to say is no matter who you are, everyone's going to pay that payment one way or another. You either pay it here on your terms when no one's watching, or you pay it later coming up short. In here, I ensure I hit failure, so I don't hit failure out there. I'll fall down 10 times. Who gives a shit? As long as I get up the 11.
It's hard when you're not where you want to be in life, and if you're listening to this and you're just not satisfied with your position in life, it's hard to think that way. All you want is that thing, but you gotta somewhere along the line figure out how to enjoy yourself. Somewhere along the line, figure out how to just go as hard as you can, but also enjoy it. Try to enjoy it, because that changes the whole tone of the experience, and I think that makes you more successful.
He said, if you want to be special, you have to do the special things that the other players aren't willing to do.
Here's what you must learn to do. Accept the pain, but not the guilt. There's part of our head sometimes that tries to make us feel guilty if we've made a decision that's been painful, not just for us, but maybe even for other people. But it had to be made, because it's not pain that destroys you. It's guilt.
When I wake up in the morning, I don't think, am I motivated to go do what I'm supposed to do? No, I don't think about it for 1 millisecond. When the alarm clock goes off, I have no thought about whether this is easy, whether this is hard, whether I want to do it, whether I don't want to do it. None of that matters. It's an emotionless, thoughtless discipline. When the alarm clock goes off, you get up, you get out of bed, and you go do what you're supposed to do. I don't care how it feels. I don't care if it's easy or hard. It doesn't even matter to me. It's just a reaction, it's a discipline, and it's life. And that's the way I choose to live my life.
And the book, first chapter said, everything's fine. Chapter 2, everything's fine. Chapter 3, everything is just fine. Chapter 4, everything is still just fine. Would you finish this book? And the answer was no. What kind of a book is this? So the book on your life story is not going to be this. It's going to be filled with the full dramas of the highs and the lows and the winter and the spring and the summer and the harvest.
That you have to do those things. You have to live in it. You have to be comfortable in it. And then maybe some of that shit will help you a little bit along the way.
But if you live this shit on a daily basis and you know how to calm your mind down, the self-talk will help. All that stuff will help. But usually we react. We have pain, we have suffering, we react. And we react about, get the f*** out of here. We gotta go. It's those people who are able to control that fucking feeling of fucking flight and say, no, motherfucker, there's a way through this.
I think most people have the potential to be exceptional, and because most people are peculiar in their own way. They just stifle that because they want to be accepted by most people, but in so doing, never accomplish what they want to do because they conform. There's probably a lot of things about the world or even your world around you that you're like, this never made sense to me, but then you do it anyways. I think that a lot of innovation and a lot of what makes people exceptional is feeling, thinking that thought or seeing that thing and then being like, I don't think I'm going to follow that rule anymore.
What's the central part of your training? Is it running? Is it sparring? Or
Central part is dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls. You want the truth? And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it. That's the truth. Now I tell you the truth. You talk all that running and hitting the bags and jogging and vitamins you won't.
Mr. Alley.
Dodging ladies is the main thing. Especially when you're pretty like me.
What makes one person a champion and the other one not?
Strive. It's the will. There's certain people that grow up with a tremendous hunger. When you grow up comfortably and in peace and happiness and all those things, that will produce a very balanced person, a good person. but it would not create the will and the determination and the hunger that you need to be the best in the world.
I'm alone and look at me. There's nobody around me. Nobody likes me, man. It is what it is. Sometimes in life, people are not going to be around you to motivate you. They're not going to be around you to push you, to celebrate you, to applaud you. You got to do it on your own.
Attitude goes a long way. So again, going back to this guy here, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, passes away. 4 years has colon cancer, no one knows about it. He goes to the doctor. That means that this doesn't mean he's not taking care of his body. He's going to the doctor, but he doesn't advertise his pain. Sometimes it's just good not to advertise your pain. Sometimes it's good to not just tell the whole world what you're going through. I'm not telling you don't talk about it with a group of people. I'm not telling you have some private conversations with certain people. I do believe in the ability to have some kind of a form of a release. But the way people are doing it right now, posting everything on Instagram, all this other stuff, what's the point behind it? You need attention? Is that what you need? It's not necessarily mental toughness. Mental toughness people are not looking for attention. Mental toughness people are trying to get results. A big.
It's 2 a.m. right now. No one here. Mano to mano, me and you, and where we want to go tomorrow. 2 a.m. Not a person's here. I can scream my ass off. No one hears me. I can cry. I can shit myself. I can put an honest day's work in here that more than anyone does in a week, and no one sees it. Because it's supposed to be that way. Not run by the clock. Run by our desire where we want to go tomorrow. Our competition's asleep right now. We're getting ahead of that competition.
Who walked the walk. And if you are someone who's ambitious, and this is me just talking specifically to you because there's only a few people who are watching this who really are, and you'll know that if it's you. You have to get used to being alone. Because there are seasons where you'll basically transition from one group of friends into another. And it's not even a group of friends. You'll usually transition from a group of friends into no friends. And then you'll find 1 or 2 people who are at a new level. And then sometimes those people introduce you to some of their friends. And if you keep walking and you keep outpacing, then that group will then start retiring past you. And then maybe one person stays with you, maybe no one does, and you'll have another lonely period. I'm saying this because I used to think that there was something wrong with me, when in reality, I just didn't understand what the nature of being exceptional meant. And so I'm saying this purely from a definitional perspective. To be exceptional means that you are the exception. It means that you are not normal. And so it's normal for normal people to find you abnormal if you do things that are not normal. Don't let people who have mediocre goals deter you from taking actions that make you great, because it makes you different.
I just was someone who was like in a f***ed up situation, but you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it. So I went from being someone who was incredibly insecure and basically a failure to someone who was really successful, and that gave me immense confidence and also a real understanding of the direct correlation between hard work and success.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, you know, life created this person, me. Life created me to be this person that I was back in the day. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I gotta go back and fix this shit. You have to go back to where the shit started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm gonna go back and fix this stuff.
You gotta be honest with yourself
100%
about where you're at.
I don't believe in talent. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life. Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am except my family. So to all around the world watching, paying attention, and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
Your best work has to come when you're least motivated. I had to stop thinking normal. I can no longer be a common man walking around doing common things. But no one taught me this stuff. It wasn't like I paid a trainer to come train me. Jenny Craig didn't come down and miracle my ass. None of this happened. It was on me. And that's the thing you have to realize. Everything you do, you may have some support, you may not, but it's on you. You have to make the decision whether you want to be a badass or whether you just want to be mediocre and everything's okay.
But those days, you realize that you didn't win the championship on that day, on that night. You won a championship that day when you got up, when you had 2 games or 4 games in 5 nights. You went up, you went to practice every single day. That's when you became a champion. Repeating those boring old habits every single day, performing your craft.
I always say this, the most driven individuals, they live a life for many years and certain times without balance. Everybody strives for balance, balance, balance. And in order to be that obsessed with something over and over again, you can't be the best at something and try to balance everything else around your life. There is going to be times where things are going to be out of balance. It just is.
I hate any entrepreneur that is like, you know, sad. like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always hard. Like, it's always going to be hard. It's hard when it's a bubble because everything's $150,000 for a $40,000 worker, right? It's hard when it blows because there's no money and nobody's buying and nobody's believing. It's always hard.
There's a difference between something missing and am I satisfied? Yeah. Right? Because I'm not satisfied. I mean, I always want to go. Like, I never get done with the end of the day and go, cool, mission accomplished. Like, it's like not even close.
Mental toughness isn't something that you sample. It's something that you live in every day. So when something hard would happen to these kids, like in Hell Week, it would draw on something that made them very insecure, and they look for comfort. Whenever hardness comes, and you don't know what it is, it may be different for you than it is for me, but you go back to your insecurities. And then when you go back to your insecurities, you then look for comfort within those insecurities. And we all look for that cookie that your mom used to give you when you were sad, when you were sick. We look for our wife or our husband. We look for comfort. It's in those moments you must retrain your mind to think differently in health.
Dude, Achilles were like the kiss of death. Athletes, like I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. It's a surgery that has to take place. The surgery has to go well, right? And then just, it's a tendon. I'm not dealing with anything that's muscular or things that I can control. I can't control a tendon. I don't know if I want to do it. Got it. I mean, it's a long process. But like, when I went in the trainer's room, my kids are in there, and, you know, they're looking at you and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you know, it's all right. Dad's gonna be all right. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. As a parent, you gotta set the example. You gotta set the example. This is another obstacle. This obstacle cannot define me. It's not gonna cripple me. It's not gonna be responsible for me stepping away for the game that I love. I'm gonna step away on my own terms. And that's when the decision was made that, you know what, I'm doing it.
Perception of a imagined future event. And the key part is imagined future event. We think and we feel like intellectual fears feel like primal fears in our body, which is there's danger, I shouldn't go and do this. And so it's like, I have this fear of failure, there's danger, I shouldn't go and try to create the life that I want. I shouldn't try to manifest the life that I want. When you look at a fear that is an intellectual fear and you say, okay, now that I've identified it, how do I overcome it? The key to it is you can't overcome something that doesn't exist. You are creating in your mind the boogeyman, and all day you are fighting the boogeyman. I was in so much fear that I was about to give up my entire passion and everything that I felt like I was born to do because I just wanted to go back to what was safe. And I think everybody feels it. And it's like, when you feel fear, we're always like, what's the hack? The only hack is you're gonna have to get yourself to a point where you're like, I have to do this or else I'm not going to be able to create the life that I really truly want.
Don't sweat the small stuff. The 1%ers, the 0.01, they sweat every single detail.
Yes! Morning, bro! That is a phenomenal finish to this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans! Holy shit! You did it! You
Most of the limitations we have do not exist in reality. They exist only in your own mind. And one of the starting points of great achievement is to start questioning those self-limiting beliefs and throw them off and act as if they did not exist.
To be unyielding, like you're always going after it, always going after it, always going after it. And if there's a challenge that ensues, oh good, I want to see how I stack up to that. So you go after it. It's fun. It's like you get a chance to compete against opponents, and you get a chance to see where you stack up against them. It's like, I want to see. Maybe I'm not good enough today, but that's fine. I'll be good enough the next time I see you, though. You know, and you get a chance to always measure yourself. So I guess that's where relentlessness comes from.
Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.
All this, it's not me. It's inside. I am more.
He said, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? I'm 25 years old. He said, this is America, land of opportunity. Why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? And then he said, for what it will make of you to achieve it. And I thought, wow, that's a whole different philosophy. Set a goal to become a millionaire for the person you have to become in order to be worth $1 million. Then he said, once you've become a millionaire, you give the money away, because what's important is not what you got, but the person you became. And I got the message.
99% of people in the world are convinced that they're incapable of achieving great things, so they aim for the mediocre. The level of competition is thus fiercest for realistic goals, paradoxically making them the most time and energy consuming. If you are insecure, guess what? The rest of the world is too. Do not overestimate the competition and underestimate yourself. You are better than you think.
People who train every day don't want to train every day. They are not motivated to train every day. They are something else. Motivation is the wrong thing. Not what you feel like fucking doing. Okay. That's the difference between a man and a fucking child. You do not become a man doing what you feel like doing. You become a man doing what you're supposed to fucking do.
It's one of those things you're either born with it or not. And the only way I can explain it to try and make it make any sense is that if I'm not doing something which is either extremely difficult or extremely stressful, I'm in a perpetual state of crippling boredom. I can't explain it. I see other people.
If I sit there and have to face myself and tell myself, you're a failure, I think that's almost worse than death.
The hardest battle you'll ever fight is the one with the man in the mirror. He knows your weaknesses, your doubts, every excuse you've ever made. But here's the truth. That man isn't your enemy. He's your greatest project. Every decision you make today is shaping him. Every rep, every risk, every sacrifice. It's for him. So ask yourself, when you look in the mirror tomorrow, will you see a man who gave it his all, or a man who let excuses win? The choice is yours. Make him proud.
It's our home. Our home. Nobody else's. This is our arena. This is our lab where we do all the work. Champions aren't found on the podium with their hand up. No. Champions are found in the lab studies. The thousands of hours of hard work when no one's watching. That's what makes the will unstoppable. When you're in here and no one else is. Harder than anybody with no one around. That right there, guys, is a spark that catches flames, burns every fear down, guys. Some fear people use, and it enables them. Fear does. You know, it's a block to them. They're scared from it. They run from it. Fear, shuts them down. For others, fear's a motivation. I feel fear now, and I tackle it, so I never have to feel it again.
You should be a monster, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
If it was raining outside at 3 o'clock in the morning, if it was snowing, the first instinct is don't go out there and do shit. My instinct was, we gotta go out there. anything that was horrible in my life that I would normally say no, that was inhumane to most people, I had to go do it.
I have a weird personality. I don't think it's weird though. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. Like right now, I'm scared to death. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible. I'm a savage. I'm ferocious. I'm the smartest savage. I'm not an animal, but a sophisticated animal, a smart animal. The lion and the fox. I could beat the vicious guys, and I can outsmart the slipsters. I love war. I love the act of war. I love the players in war. I love the philosophy of war. And there's a quote in Machiavelli, The Prince, and when they say, after you defeat the king and you cut off his head, you be audacious, and you say what you're going to do to the next fool and the next prince that you're going to conquer, and that allows them to be intimidated.
I became bulletproof. I became invincible here in my body. Now, nothing can stop me. Not you can throw anything at me. There's nothing that can break my mindset. Nothing. I'm bulletproof.
Better than you at 13, it was to be better than you when the chips are really on the line. So when you played at 13, I would size you up and see what your strengths and weaknesses are. How do you approach the game? Are you silly about it? Are you goofy about it? Are you good at it just because you're bigger and stronger than everybody else? Right? Or is there actually thought and skill that you put into it? Right? And when I'd play to my weaknesses. I wouldn't play to my strengths. I played to my weaknesses. Because when you're playing summer basketball, there's so many games. So there's not a lot of skill work being done. So when are you going to get better? Right? When you're playing in competition situations, you're only playing to your strengths. Why? Because you want to win. Right? So what I would do, I was work on the things during those games that I was weak at. Left hand, pull-up jump shot, post game. Right? So I have a strategy. And so then fast forward to when I'm 17, and my game is completely well-rounded, and that player at 13, I saw at 13, is still doing the same shit at 17, now you got a problem. That's right.
The level that I am is like in other sports, Formula One, NBA. The best players always follow the best players. They want to be in the top of the game because the other ones, they are there. You know, you cannot rest or sleep because the other one can pass you. Of course, we fight with everyone. With Neymar, with Messi, with Lewandowski, with Higuain, with the top of the best players in the world. So, I mean, this is not fighting, but it's hard, it's healthy. Comparisons is healthy, and we fight, to be the best. This is why it's my main point, it's my motivation, it's to be better than them, year after year.
Sports is a tool that teaches. And it teaches you bad things. It can also teach you good things. It's how you perceive those things. I've looked at every experience that I've had, negative and positive, and taken that as a positive. If I wouldn't change anything because I think it would alter some of the other things that have happened. So when I look back, I can't say that I've had any bad things happen. Sure, I mean, you don't want bad things to happen, but you deal with bad things. You can't have good or without bad.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. Yes, your family supports you. Yes, your friends support you, but you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day. And you're the only one who's going out there on the track. So you gotta motivate yourself, and you gotta want it as much as everybody else on the track. So I've learned that, so it's easier now. Certain people say, this season, all you're saying is not running as fast as you should. It doesn't bother me, because I've been through this already. And I know what they're gonna say all the time. But I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do, so.
What struck us most about Michael when we met him all those years ago was his dedication to the long hours in the pool.
It's one reason why we train 7 days a week, why we train on Christmas, why we train on Thanksgiving, 365 days a year. There aren't many clubs that train 7 days a week, so that gives you one extra training session every single week where you can pick something up. So, I mean, if I'm getting 52 more practices than everybody else is, and that's kind of make that little or big difference in the end.
Do you gauge your game against Kobe? Is that your Larry Bird?
It is, honestly. I look at Kobe Bryant as that guy that is the best, one of the best in our league. Every time when I'm not playing, if the Lakers on TV, I'm watching him. I'm watching him. I'm trying to learn from him to see how he may be attacking this certain team that he's playing. Because a lot of teams kind of play me the same way that they may play Kobe with double and triple teams and, you know, making you have to facilitate to your teammates. So I definitely look at Kobe as that guy that, you know, he's that guy. He's that one.
You think there were no hurdles or obstacles that I had to overcome, but even when I got to high school, I wasn't ranked. I wasn't ranked. I wasn't highly touted as a high school prospect. I had nobody really running, knocking on my door saying, please, please, please come play for our school until Coach McKillop called. And, you know, everything happens for a reason, and there's a story to everything. And if you take time to realize, you know, what your dream is, and what you really want in life, no matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's in other fields, you have to realize that there's always work to do, and you want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful. And you have to have a passion about what you do. And basketball was mine, and that's what's carried me to this point.
This league, there's good players and there's great players. What separates the great from the good?
Obsession about, you know, taking care of business, and like there's no payoffs. Great players, like no matter what, they're always there. It might be getting 12 rebounds, it might be scoring 30 points, a game-winning block, or picking up full court. Like the great ones that obsess about the game, the only focus about the game, they're hoopers. And there's nothing bad being a good player in the NBA, because if you're a good player in the NBA, trust me, you're a really, really good player.
Yeah.
But there's something about being great.
How does that obsession work its way into your life?
I'm just stubborn. I love improvement, you know, seeing things getting better. When I go back home and I'm laying in my bed, I'm thinking about basketball. When I'm in the car and I'm talking to my significant other, I'm thinking about basketball. Don't tell her I said that, but probably don't see it. As I got older, you understand yourself better, you figure out yourself more and realize that, yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm sick, I got the itch.
But are you surprised that your image in the public eye has been so rehabilitated? You do get a lot of love now.
Well, I just had to, I had to try to love myself. You know, that's what it really comes down to. I had to deal with that challenge and starting to love myself realer and deeper. And for me, it's different perspectives, not from love to say how great I am, how grand I am, but to really look at the under baseline, bottom line characteristics of who I am. And by doing that, you know, it's gonna require a whole bunch of struggle, a whole bunch of thinking, a whole bunch of reflecting, and let's not forget and mention a whole bunch of therapy, you know. But it's just the unlingering feeling of unfreedom sometimes, and that feeling is such a essential part of my identity than anything else.
Something that I have always treated golf as, I've treated golf as a sport. And because I've played other sports growing up as a kid and competing against people who did train in that sport, we all trained physically to become better able to compete. You know, it would be asinine for someone to go ahead and not train to play American football, or for someone not to train to play basketball. So that's why I do all the lifting. That's why, you know, I do all the running. I do all the training that it takes to become physically prepared to play.
Where I got my early, it's like this part of you starts to say, you know what? They always say that. And you begin to not trust yourself. And so always seek to be accurate in your thinking. It's not good to go over. It's not good to go under, to hit under your goals. It's great to be accurate. And when you can get in the habit of having these projections in your business, these projections in your life, eventually you build so much trust with yourself. What you say becomes law in the universe. And when like your unconscious mind connects with those words that you say, it's like, man, he's gonna actually do it. There's so much trust, the same part of your mind that makes your heart beat 100,000 times a day. You don't even think about it. Your conscious mind says it and then you just do it. But if you always say that you're gonna do it and you never follow through, that part of you that connects with the infinite, your subconscious mind, your antenna, the broadcast, the frequency, the energy that you put out to the world, it's gonna become weaker and weaker and weaker. And so if you're somebody that's had big goals and you always talk about doing things, I'm gonna lose the weight, I'm gonna follow through, I'm gonna make it happen, and you say it over and over again, but you can tell there's a part of you that doesn't trust yourself, here's what I want you to do. Start small. Start really small and repair that relationship with yourself. And now there's this part of me that sees, I say I'm going to do something and then I do it. And I begin to repair that relationship with myself. Confidence comes from putting yourself on the line, from one, being consistent. That's how you build confidence. If you have confidence in, this chair is not going to fall apart. If I sit on this chair and 5 times out of 10 I fall on the ground, I have very little confidence in that chair. But if 1,000% of the time that I sit on this chair, I know there's no such thing as 1,000%, but if I sit on this chair every time, I don't even think about it, I'm confident that it's going to support me. And so when we put ourselves on the line, we've got to start small. And I've had so many times in my own life that I broke promises to myself. I broke my own heart. I didn't have a good rapport or a good relationship with myself because I was constantly lying to myself about what I wanted, why I wanted it, what it took to get it. And then when it didn't happen, I got mad at other people and mad at myself. But really, it was just because I wasn't honest with myself. And so you might have to repair that relationship with yourself. And whether it's in journaling or meditation or just having a good relationship with anybody requires you to, 1, spend time with them, and 2, to keep your word. So as you write down your goals and you review your weeks and your months and everything that you want, it's great to think 10x and it's great to be a big thinker, but first let's see it how it is. Let's be accurate. And there's lead indicators and there's lag indicators. Don't get them mixed up. There's consistent things that we need to do every day. You lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid, and pretty soon you will have a wall. You can use that wall to build more walls and higher walls and extra floors, and then you can build a castle in the sky, anything that you want.
What am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror? How you address it is you face it. You face it every day. You face it every single day of your life. The things that, how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone. And you're all by yourself.
Growth only comes through pain.
That which you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate. And I think that identifies most people's lives. In other words, average becomes sort of like this slow asphyxiation. It's almost like an anesthetic. And that over time we become kind of immune and dulled to the average that we're becoming.
Your life doesn't have meaning without aspiration or an aim. Okay, so you need a hierarchy of values. There's got to be something at the top. It's got to be something important. If you don't have that, your life doesn't have any meaning. So if you criticize the hierarchy, or even the idea of hierarchy, you destroy the idea of aspiration, and then people have nothing.
This is, I believe, the single biggest factor for most people that robs them of success. That you use what other people might say or think or be disappointed by as an excuse to not fully be yourself, to not fully go after what you want.
You're going to get out of your life what you'll accept. That's really difficult for people, I think, to understand is, look, what you think you're worth and what you're going to tolerate is absolutely what you're going to bring into your life and what the outward part of your life is going to look like. No, there's 2 motivators, right? There's the gaining of pleasure, right? Wanting to go get something, chasing the dream, but then there's the avoidance of pain.
Headset, as it Infinite Consciousness puts on a VR headset made of thinking and perceiving. And in doing so, the moment it puts on the VR headset, it localizes itself within its own activity. And through that headset, it looks out through the perceiving faculties of a finite mind, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. And it fragments the unity of its own being and makes it appear as 10,000 things. What I'm suggesting is that there is very much more to the universe than the finite mind. I'm not suggesting that the universe only appears in each of our finite minds. The universe exists outside of our finite mind, but inside consciousness. But it is the limitations of our finite mind that give the universe